Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today we need to talk about some breaking news here today that the 2022 World Juniors has been officially canceled. Now, I need to go on a huge rant about all of this, but we're going to be breaking down all the small details, all that is going on right now, what has led to this cancellation, and what happens next for all these players and the 2022 World Juniors. I am just seeing this news now, and I felt like I needed to talk about it. Obviously, you guys know, on this channel we make a bunch of prospect, draft, and World Junior content every single year, and this year's World Juniors was something that was such a great thing to have, the NHL postponing and everything feeling so bleak. We had the World Juniors to look forward to, and now it is officially canceled. But what happens next for the IIHF and this year's World Juniors? What should we think about it, and what are my thoughts on this whole situation? Watch till the end for all of the little details, all my thoughts, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. 60% of the people that are watching are not subscribed. If you like hockey, this channel is the place to be. Now, the official word came here from Chris Peters of the Daily Faceoff, who said, expecting an announcement soon that the 2022 World Junior Championship will be canceled, and then Bob McKenzie as well explained that and confirmed that as well. So the 2022 World Juniors are officially done and over. And to run down everything, the World Juniors started a couple of days ago, and since then we've seen multiple games be canceled outright and forfeited. We saw the U.S. have a couple positive cases and forfeit their game against Team Switzerland. Then we saw a game between Finland and Czech Republic, where the Czech Republic had a couple of cases, or I believe one positive case, that resulted in a forfeit where Finland would win. And then we saw Russia versus Slovakia, I believe, or a team that was facing Russia, also have to be a forfeit. Russia forfeited that game, and the other team won. And we have seen it pretty much escalate into a situation where COVID is now rampant once again, not just in the NHL, but in the World Juniors. And we saw confirmation that there will be meetings between all the IIHF people. I don't know what to call them. They're the people that make dumb decisions. And they have pretty much come to the conclusion that they will be canceling the World Juniors. And I gotta say, man, with all of this, how well it started, I really don't get what has gone on with this year's World Juniors. We obviously saw the craziness of the cancellations of the U18 Women's Worlds, for example, which caused a lot of much needed uproar. But this tournament was something the IHF was persistent in making happen, yet had failed in so many ways. And we're going to go through all of that right now and all of my feelings, because it's just all so raw right now. You guys know how much I love the World Juniors, how much the tournament means to me and means to everybody out there, especially again with the NHL having a postponement and their season being in chaos right now. The World Juniors was the next thing to bring hockey back into our lives and to have it be amazing, and now it's been taken away. We only had like 3 days of World Junior games before this had to come to a close, and I am just so disappointed. And there's so many ways and so many issues that's come up with this tournament that I'm so disappointed by. It has been handled horribly by the IIHF in a ton of different ways. Now, the first things first, there was no bubble for this tournament. Nothing like last year where all the players isolated for a huge amount of time. Nothing like that. The hotel that I'm pretty sure Team USA, Sweden, and Russia are staying at is apparently going to have a wedding this weekend, and it's open to a bunch of other people for some reason, and that just shows one level of incompetence from the IIHF, not having this be a bubble at all, but almost being the complete opposite, where yeah, let's bring in a bunch of other people to come to the same hotel and be right next to these guys as they're supposed to be playing every single day. No wonder they got positive cases. Of course they were going to have that. That was just an obvious fact, and yet with that obvious fact coming, especially Omicron being as transmittable as it is, the IIHF had no backup plan whatsoever. As long as one player on one team had a positive case, the entire game was forfeited and they weren't allowed to play, which is so unfair to all the other players that were isolating, were doing the best they can, were out there isolating before they came here to the World Juniors, before they came and were wanting to play for their country. I mean, just imagine having one player on your 25 team roster testing positive positive and the entire team has to not just postpone a game, but have to forfeit the game and lose it outright. That to me is just so sickening, and it's so sad to see how it's all come up and crumbled in our hands. It's just been absolutely awful. And this is just my selfish views, wanting to watch the World Juniors, wanting to escape and watch these amazing prospects, but think about the players in this situation. There have only been a few players out there that have even tested positive throughout the entire tournament. Like 250 players are here, or not that much, but close to it, that are here and are wanting to compete, yet only a few positive cases have completely taken away their entire chances of competing for their country and representing what they know dearest. I mean, I'm thinking about the players that have their last year of eligibilities, top players, elite players like Perfetti, Beniers, so many amazing young talents that now will have no chance whatsoever to do anything for their country or represent them like they should. So much amazing talent, especially from the 2020 draft, is now going to be taken away from us through these World Juniors, and it's now going to be a situation where we're not going to be able to ever see them again. And I feel so bad for players that weren't there last year, that had their last year of eligibility this season, and this is how it's produced for them. I mean, a good example of that, I'm pretty sure, would be a guy like a Justin Sordiff, or a player on Team Canada, or a player like a Sasha Pasajov, or some players that are a part of the 2020 draft, for example, even though Pasajov wasn't. Players that were from that draft that weren't there last year, that could have been here and could have been such big impact players, have now been taken away from us. And it's just so sad. I mean, these guys have lived to experience this. This is the pinnacle of their age group, to be able to compete in this prestigious tournament and represent their country. It should be something that should be given to them. And for only a few positive cases to cancel the entire tournament is just so dumb. I know that there's obviously complications with booking and everything in Red Deer in Alberta, but at the same time, you couldn't have just pushed a couple of games back. I don't know the full details and everything, but it just feels like a situation where I feel like the IIHF should try a lot harder to keep this a tight-knit thing. You can't have weddings happening in the same hotel as a bunch of your teams and expect it to go smoothly, while also not having a backup plan whatsoever. Their backup plan was canceling the tournament, just like they canceled all those crazy tournaments that we could have seen over the next month. Instead, it's a waste of a tournament. It's a waste of what could have been. It was executed so amazingly last year. We saw a few positives, yes, but we saw a bubble last year and it worked. It worked especially in the last week, and it created a tournament where we could have a best-on-best competition and still be able to call it legitimate. This year, with all the games that were forfeited, you might as well cancel the tournament, because you were already setting up a tournament that wasn't fair from the beginning. And I am just so sad for, again, all those players that had their one last shot taken away from them. I mean, I'm a U.S. hockey fan, but thinking about a lot of the overagers on Team Canada, guys like Jake Neighbors, guys like Justin Sordiff, players that are at the top of their game, top of their age group, yet won't have the opportunity to represent their country and likely win the gold medal. That to me is just such a ripoff for all these players that dreamed of doing this, and especially for up-and-coming teams like Slovakia that had so much potential in this tournament to really show themselves, had it ripped away as well. It was just an awful situation, and the IIHF canceling is just an even worse situation for this all. It could have been handled so much better, and it's a shame that's had to go this way. And not even just the players that were drafted before, but what about guys that were supposed to be drafted this year? Players like Simon Nemec and David Jiricek and Brad Lambert, who have played great throughout the tournament, that could have made even bigger names for themselves. Even Shane Wright, who hasn't even played that great this World Juniors, is a guy that could have had a great example throughout the next few games. And not even just this year. What about 2023? Guys like Dalibor Dvorsky, who are going to be great parts of Slovakia in the future. Yes, they will have opportunities, but they could have made even bigger names for themselves this year. And obviously, Connor Bedard and Matvei Michkov, two players that are generational in their own ways, and were so brilliant. Both of these two players, Bedard and Michkov, were two of the best players, simply put, throughout the entire tournament so far. And we have also have that happen and have that taken away from us. Not even just the players that were overaging at their last chance, but also the players this year and the players in the future that could have broken even more records. This youth wave, this group of players in the World Juniors, is probably the best we have ever seen in terms of talent level and competitiveness and overall balance level. I mean, comparing Slovakia to a few years ago, they are so much better off now, and it's just so sad to see such a waste of an opportunity. We could have had one of the best World Junior tournaments we have ever seen, and that was also taken away from us. Don't forget what the IIHF has taken away from us so far this year, because it has been absolutely awful. And this cancellation is just so stupid for only a few positive cases that just wasn't worth a cancellation. Postpone if you need to, but all of this stuff, all this awful foresight, not even trying to do a bubble again, is just awful management, and unfortunately the World Juniors is canceled this year. But I want to know, after all of my rants today, what you guys think of this situation. What do you think about the IIHF canceling the World Juniors? What do you think would have happened if we saw the World Juniors continue? I want to know all your thoughts and all your rants and all your ranting in the chat and the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this rant and want to see more like it. Make sure you comment down below all your thoughts, share this video with your friends, get the news out there, and click on this card for all of my World Junior Talk right on playlist. My name is Nathan. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.